What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here to do a rundown of what happened tonight for the Monday Night Raw review. Tonight's usually a chore to get through the 3 hours of Raw, but I felt tonight was a little bit different. They booked it pretty decently. I'm going to be honest. I thought tonight did a good job at a lot of things. Much like SmackDown did last Friday night, they built towards WrestleMania a lot with feud on feud storyline progression. I rated the SmackDown last, I believe, 6 out of 10. I've been giving Raws consistently around 4 or 5 out of 10. It's been a chore, like I said, to get through a lot of the episodes, but I think tonight did a good transition. I'll elaborate on that throughout the review. Thanks for joining me. I wasn't extremely hyped coming in. We had it announced that tonight's Raw had 4 matches and a contract signing coming in. 3 qualifying tag matches and a last woman's stand matching, plus Gunther and Zayn's contract signing. Not everything was sunshine and rainbows tonight, of course, so I'll also tell you what happened that was bad. Would Cody or Rollins touch on The Rock's insults on SmackDown last Friday night during his Rock concert? Would we get a more intriguing build to Seth, Drew, Becky, Rhea? These were all questions I had coming in. Because both feuds seemed underwhelming, if I'm being perfectly honest. Tonight, whether it was starting with the Usos, Heyman and Cody, Zayn, Gable, Gunther, Seth, Drew, all the segments delivered, I thought. They progressed the rivalries and gave them some more depth, much needed depth. So lots of material to unpack as always. Just chill out for the next 20 to 25 minutes or so. Grab a drink. Let's go over this together. Tonight in full. Results were either you watch the show or not. Let's discuss what happened, and then as always, I'll sprinkle some analysis on the side. I like to say that because I like to go over each instance that happened on the show, whether you watched it or not. Either way, we can decide what was funny, what was not funny, what was needed, what was not needed, all that kind of good stuff. But I can do it in a quick time with no advertisements because I don't think my channel's been around long enough for advertisements. So anyways, Cole and McAfee on commentary for Raw, as always. So that's a perk to watching these. We open up this show Raw, March 18th, 2024, from the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. We kick things off with an awareness that we are sold out with 14,000 plus fans after they look at the Lincoln Financial Field for WrestleMania 40. Then they shoot to the PNC Arena in Raleigh. We're 19 days away from Mania. WrestleMania 40 in 19 days. Hard to believe. But that's why the booking has kick-started these Mania matches and programs last week, starting last Friday into tonight. A lot more Mania clarity now. We start the show with main event Jey Uso coming through the stage area to the ring. Cole says for the 3rd time at Mania, it's brother versus brother. Not since Brett versus Owen and Matt versus Jeff has there been the match. And I'm thinking in myself, the WrestleMania and inside knowledge wrestling geek that I am. What about Undertaker versus Kane? We all know they're not brothers, but I guess they just... I like this, though, that they didn't count Undertaker and Kane. Stick to reality. Stick to who were really brothers that went at it at WrestleMania. I liked the fact that they didn't just say... And I like the fact that they acknowledged Owen Hart on TV. I think that's great. The more the better. Main event, Jey Uso says he knows how the bloodline roll. So he says, where's my brother at? Because he knows he's at the show. Just then, Jimmy and Solo come through the crowd as the older brother Jimmy isn't alone. He's with Solo Sikoa. They cautiously enter the ring as the crowd chant, yeet. Then an Uso stare down. Uso is chanted, not sure why. Maybe a Jay is better chant would have been appropriate. Jay says, look, bro, look, Us, I miss you. And then Jimmy interrupts him and goes, look, man, I protected you. You left the bloodline. You forgot me in this process. It's good, by the way, that they're building this rivalry from the get-go on Raw, giving it the spotlight. I thought it really needed time to grow after last week, and I thought that about Rhea and Becky, too. And one ends the show, one opens the show. But let's go back to the promo here. Jimmy said the biggest moment of his career happened because of Jimmy. Jay says no, his biggest moment will be at WrestleMania 40 when he knocks the yeet out of your ass. Then he gives him a right hand. And then a distraction by Solo allows Jimmy to hit a thrust kick. The fans chant Cody to get some help. Just then, Cody Rhodes runs to the ring in his suit, and he's taking out Solo. I believe he was in his suit at this time. Fans pop that's what I wrote in my notes. The fans pop as the fans have their yellow "We Want Cody" signs in the crowd. They were obviously handed out. A lot of replicas in the crowd. They were hot for Cody all night. This opening segment was good because it was simple and to the point. More importantly, it didn't go over 10 minutes. That's key. They were short and to the point. And the whole thing, from Raw's opening segment to everything, from commercial, like everything just took 10 minutes. The opening promo ended at the 10-minute mark, so that's different from the other shows lately. But we've been getting The Rock, so usually a half an hour is just we want more time with The Rock as much as we can get, right? Not going to complain about segments going over. But the fact that they were able to do a Jay and Jimmy promo that was personal and well done and gave more depth to this, much needed depth to the story, the fact that they did it in 10 minutes is beautiful. Booking-wise, Cole previews the last women's standing match tonight with a video package calling it 5 years in the making. I guess it was, since Nia broke Becky's face and then they called her the man. We open up in the ring with the WrestleMania 40 Tag Team Qualifying match. DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano taking on the Creed brothers, Julius and Brutus Creed. The DIY get absolutely zero reaction when their music hits. Cole says we will find out which team wins and advances next. What a night. Nia, Becky, and tag qualifying matches are all the only things we knew, so that What a Night was very contrived and forced. Because those matches don't exactly scream what a night, but he had to go what a night for that big exclamation mark to this point. That's called selling what needs sold. It wasn't the most captivating lineup, so Michael Cole saying that at least helped us somewhat, as would a backstage segment by Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce that I'll get to in just a second. I mean, we're hoping it's a great night. I think both of the teams deserve to be in this WrestleMania match, though, the DIY and the Creeds, and I'll get to that in a second. This match should be pretty decent as well, as the more experienced DIY can get it, or the new kids in town can get it, or the Creeds. Just before we get to the match, Heyman apologizes backstage to Adam Pearce, and Heyman says he's going to do his official business tonight. Everyone's going to get caught off guard. He says that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. And then he went, call Roman Reigns, as he's finished talking, walking down the hallway. So they give us a cliffhanger for tonight, which is nice, much needed. Better than the what I just talked about before with the frequent tag matches and Nia and Becky. That can't be the only thing that makes the fans want a cliffhanger. So it's good they did that. Let's get to the actual match now. We open with the DIY coming to the ring before Heyman and Pearce the segment. Then afterwards, Ciampa and Gargano came to the ring. And I think we got our answer of who's going to win this match. As Cole says, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano have both never fought at WrestleMania. Really? I mean, now we know they're going to, because it's senior's delight. What's that phrase? Something about elders first. It's something like that. Just drawing a complete blank right now. But you guys know what it's like, giving seniority the chance to go on to WrestleMania. That's what this was all about. Seniority order or something like that. Julius Creed with a front face lock. Ciampa reverses it. Both men chain wrestle and wrestle amateur style for leverage. And Pat McAfee astutely announces that you don't want to amateur wrestle the Creeds. As Cole said, Ciampa getting into an amateur battle to start this match. Brutus and Ciampa went toe-to-toe until Gargano scores a blind tag and both men double-team Brutus. A double suicide dive to the floor and we get our predictable commercial spot. We come breaking the Creed brothers, double-teaming with Brutus, elevating Jimmy onto both Ciampa and Gargano. Julius Creed hit a vertical suplex coming off his knees, and Cole and McAfee freak out about it mid-match. Ciampa with a neckbreaker, and Gargano gets a hot tag, and he takes away the Creed's offense with a running bulldog and a clothesline simultaneously. So impressive moves by the DIY. Ciampa hits white noise from the top, but the Creeds kick out. Ciampa and Julius Creed with a mid-ring brawl. Near the end here, Julius Creed with an ankle lock, and Gargano came in and hit a powerbomb back into an ankle lock, a double ankle lock, then a double drop to hold into a double crossface by the DIY. The Sicilian stretch, but the Creeds stand up, and then both guys hold it. Both guys are shoved into midair against each other by the Creeds. Both men with innovative offense, and then both Creeds moonsault Ciampa in succession. Unbelievable stuff here. Crowd really appreciate this fantastic match. This is the type of match you chant, this is awesome to. This is the match, fans. This is what you chant, this is awesome to. Creed's with the Brutus ball, but he rolls up Julius, and both men had a series of roll-ups in a row, and then it ended with the DIY getting the final roll-up. The ending was fitting for a classic Raw match like this. The match was unreal. Some classic TV material here. Banger of a match for sure. I felt it was going to be good, but they made this thing great. I'm a fan of the impressive, innovative sequences, the double team moves especially, but yeah, this is one of the best Raw matches in months. I gave it 3 stars and 3/4. Almost 4 stars, I was considering. I have a list of 3.5 stars and above, so that's why I say I give this a star. It's not just for you guys to hear. I have an actual list of over 1,000 matches of 3.5 stars and up. Not bragging about that. That makes me a super geek, but I got it nonetheless, and I'm going to be adding that match to the list. As I said, 3 stars and 3/4, so a 3.75. I'm a strict rater. A lot of people could give that match 4 stars, 4.5 stars, and I wouldn't argue with them. It's just I'm only giving it 3.75, 3 3/4. We heard Thunderbolt Patterson is the newest inductee to this year's 2024 WWE class of Hall of Fame class. Hall of Fame. The class of this year's Hall of Fame. So congratulations to him. Don't know anything about him. I'll have to hear more about him as time goes on. The Judgment Day are backstage. They talk with Andrade on what the Judgment Day are all about. They criticize JD McDonough for not running the gauntlet, does Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley afterwards, and losing to Ricochet of all people. Rhea said, "You made a fool out of us," but lucky for him, Dirty Dom is going to make it right tonight. Oh, I don't think she's going to be much happy with that later. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell take on Chance and Carter. They show LeRae last week being vicious to Maxine Dupree, talking about her dead brother and all that, when she pretty much talked her into a beating. So Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell are in the match versus Chance and Carter, and LeRae is still acting like this vicious heel that Hartwell can't believe her partner LeRae is acting this way. There was an injury in the match by Chance to her knee, and Candice LeRae viciously went for the knee and torqued it back for a submission victory, then mocked her afterwards, and Hartwell is surprised at her partner Candice LeRae's actions lately. Gave that match a star. They showed clips of the Rock concert from SmackDown last Friday the 15th in Memphis. A clip version was shown. And then they have Cody walking to the ring, supposedly for a next in-ring segment promo in the ring, and that's what we get. Cody Rhodes did in fact come out momentarily, and he means business this week because he's not smiling like he usually is, but he's still high-fiving fans, being himself. But when he has a serious look on his face, and I think that's great. When Cody was most emotional last week crying in the ring, Rock made fun of him on SmackDown and said some bad words about his mama, so Cody is all business here tonight, and he ends up cutting one of the best promos he's cut in WWE. Cody maybe his career. Cody names heels on the microphone. Before I move on, Cody Rhodes, you got to think, his best promos would likely be in the WWE, would they not? Cody names heels on the microphone and then says, "I don't think you're a heel, Rock." Cody then ran Rock down about him saving WWE. Yeah, Cody, in my opinion, this WrestleMania season was saved by The Rock. You can't deny that The Rock hasn't been the best thing in the last couple months, and you can't deny that he's the one getting some eyeballs to the product. You can't deny this. You can be one of those fans that really enjoy Raw and SmackDown more than the average reviewer or whatever, but you really can't sit there and say that The Rock hasn't been the most entertaining part. He has been, in my opinion, and I'm sure in your opinion too. So Cody, when he says that we didn't need The Rock, maybe that's partially true. The WrestleMania would still done well either way, but The Rock's involvement definitely helps. There's no denying that. Raw has consistently been boring, if anything, so The Rock has been the best part of about 2024 in WWE, hands down. Rhodes calls him a whiny bitch. Rhodes says it's a rural business, and he doesn't think he's a heel. He thinks he's an asshole. I think Rock is as hard as it sounds. Cody says, "I know your mom," and then the crowd go, "Oh," when he was talking about my mom. Cody then talked a big game about Rock's mom, and if Cody really wanted to drop bombs on parents, he should have said, "My dad would have been a Hall of Famer despite me, not because of me, like your dad." That would have been fucking epic. I suggested that in my Raw preview earlier today. I thought, if Cody really wants to burn The Rock, like actually burn him, talk about his dead parents not deserving to be in the Hall of Fame if it wasn't for Rock. That is just savage. That is, I think that line strikes too hard of a, you know what I'm saying, guys? If you're around watching this at this point, I'm rambling right now. I should be getting back to the review, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That would hurt a little bit too much. And we don't want to diss the dead, especially The Rock's parents, but with something that might be painfully true that The Rock even knows deep down. So I don't know but that's just if The Rock's gonna get personal with Cody, that's a good way to get him back. Just saying, there's just my idea. It would make gripping television. It would really make this feud that much higher if Cody said something like that. And then he says, but Dwayne, what do you know? You'll keep forgetting you haven't been in the ring for years. Are you going to bring that Rock energy or LDS, little dick syndrome? Cody was just letting him have it in this promo. Cody says, perhaps you're the final boss, but at Mania, I think you're just Roman's sidekick. Cody does a great job in this promo. His best so far the Mania season for sure. Heyman comes out to his sidelines. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. I can't do the impression, but that's what Heyman said. He apologizes, and Cody cuts him off, saying, whoa. Just a second here, wise man. I don't think he said just a second here, wise man, but he said, whoa. Heyman says he carries a message from the tribal chief, and they will go face-to-face on Friday. He says no one from the bloodline will be there outside him and the title. You have Roman's word on Friday's SmackDown that Roman will show up alone. Heyman says if Roman Reigns shows up alone, Cody Rhodes, you show up alone too. Sure, this promotes the Roman Cody segment for Friday and explains why The Rock won't be on it this week. It also proves to be entertaining and just them, but at the same time, that's it. Don't get me wrong, good promo, fine segment, but earlier Heyman said that he was going to catch everyone off guard. Thought we were going to get a big announcement of some sort, like maybe even The Rock tonight. When you say that, and then you say, so what Heyman was promoting was the fact that there'll be no bloodline this Friday when it's face-to-face Cody and Roman. Yeah, that does leave the segment a little unpredictable, because predictable the bloodline would get involved and beat down Cody after the face-to-face, right? That's the regular thing. So that means Friday's segment is a little bit more unpredictable, but at the same time, I was hoping the announcement was something a little bit bigger. Either way, at least it did build to something, and that's Friday Night SmackDown, which should be I don't want to call it a must-watch, but it should be a really good watch. An important one. Sami Zayn is backstage, and believe it or not, I'm not lying here, anyone, he's not with Jackie Redmond. I'll get to Sami's promo in a second. First, Nia Jax cuts a promo backstage, pre-recorded promo about being the last woman standing, and tells the fact that she's never lost to Becky and will break her face again. She says she'll be going to Mania, the next women's champion. Up next, Ricochet took on Dirty Dominic Mysterio with JD McDonough. Dom looking to pick up a big win. He and JD are both booked like jobbers, so don't be surprised if Ricochet actually wins this match, is what I wrote. What ended up happening? Ricochet with a corkscrew plancha to Dom on the outside. McDonough backed off. Dom back from the break with an X Factor. Dom then does his Eddie taunt before the Three Amigos, but Ricochet breaks that up, and his power leads to a corner suplex. A boot to the face, an inverted sort of backstabber. Ricochet is rolled up out of nowhere near the end here, and Ricochet lands a thrust kick, and he kicks out. Then he goes for a 450 splash and rolls out of it. JD off the apron. Dirty Dom goes for a 619 and misses, and Ricochet then hits a recoil as he beats Dom. Ricochet then took on both JD and Dom at the same time, showing how bottom half of the Judgment Day are really treated. They're both weaklings and they're pushed like jokes. I gave that match a star and a half. Sami Zayn is backstage, not with Redmond. That's what I was saying before. He talks to Chad Gable, how it was an honor about last week. Gable said to Zayn, like Gable was being hard-pressed backwards, and Zayn's like, what is this? What's this attitude for? And Zayn cuts a good promo backstage how it didn't just mean something to Gable, it means something to Zayn. He's got a family too. Zayn says, what is all this about though? Gable's attitude for the reason he had it. Gable then, with serious eyes, looks exactly like a young Kurt Angle when Gable does this. He sounds just like him too, and Gable says to Zayn, you can't beat Gunther. Zayn looks on as the crowd, oh, I love that. Love the segment. That is exactly what something that Gable should do to develop his character, to further develop this mean streak after a loss. Maybe it leads to a heel turn. We'll have to see it. And they didn't just have this as a forgotten loss in the gauntlet match. They actually took a story from somebody losing in a match and turned it around into a storyline. That's perfect booking for that segment. This whole I'd have beaten Gunther and not you shit is really good. It builds to the match too, and it puts doubt in fans and in Zayn himself, kayfabe wise. Entertaining, and also plants seeds of doubt again in Sammy and the extent of dethroning the longest IC champion of all time. A perfect lead into the contract signing as we go to the break. Already 20 minutes into this review, so thank you for sticking with me. Hopefully I'm saying something entertaining, or I'm filling you in on something you didn't see, or I'm just telling you the results if you didn't watch Raw. Either way, hope you're enjoying it. I'm going a little slower tonight. Usually I end around 20 minutes. Maybe it'll go to 25-30 tonight, but I'm sure you guys will be fine. If you've been with me this far, what's a little bit more, right? It's time for the Gunther Zayn contract signing. Zayn unloads on Gunther, who makes fun of Zayn's attire. Fans solidly behind Zayn as Gunther just shrugs Sammy's speech after his speech. Gunther says no one believes he can beat him, even him. Gunther is about to leave, and Zayn says, "Wait, looking in my eyes, because you're looking at the man who is going to take you down at WrestleMania." And Zayn does a mic drop, and they follow Zayn to the backstage segment. Awesome camera work, great direction, Scorsese-like. Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas, when he does the back shot of the kitchen before Ray Liotta and Henry Hill and his wife Karen go to dinner, where they follow them all the way through the kitchen from the outside entrance. That's what they did tonight with Sami Zayn. He walked to the back, and then we saw the Awesome Truth right after that. Miz had to tell Truth that they're facing their opponents next. Into Jinder Mahal's two guys. Then they go to the Awesome Truth segment, like I said, as Zayn walks off. Great captivating TV with Zayn segments tonight. Great mic work as well. He can really do well on the mic when given the chance, Sami Zayn. Whoever's idea that was to make that little change that didn't come off so little, that direction, they did a good job. I want more stuff like that on Raw. Don't just make it a similar segment to segment. Don't make it a default universe mode thing on WWE 2K. Don't make it like that. Be a little bit more extravagant. Be a little bit more detailed. Elaborate. Something that gives us something different from the norm. Next, we got the Awesome Truth taking on Indus. Truth let Miz rap for him to the ringside. He said, "You can get with this, and you can get with that. I'll stop now because I can't even rap. What's up? What's up?" Yeah, I'll never sing that again. I'm sorry. The match here was a little bit predictable than Creed's versus DIY, but still, you never know for sure. R-Truth, not sure why they say in his childhood his hero was John Cena growing up. K-Quick was R-Truth before Cena even debuted. K-Quick, they're saying that the guy was his idol growing up. What? This guy was in the WWE before John Cena. How could he have been his idol growing up? It makes no sense, but maybe that's part of the joke. Maybe they treat R-Truth as if he's like some, just like Eugene had favorite wrestlers. This is Nick Dinsmore is not actually his favorite, just the character Eugene had those of his famous. So I'm thinking that's the same thing here. The character of R-Truth's hero was John Cena. It has to be, because they can't be that dumb and not know that he was in the WWE before Cena. K-Quick was in the WWF in the year 2000. Cena debuted in June 2002? Something like that? Ridiculous, but funny all the less. I mean, it's R-Truth. Anything him is funny. So for him to be this fictional character that has a hero. Anyways, I gave the Awesome Truth tag half a star. The right team won, though. Drew McIntyre then is shown walking to the ring. Hopefully they get some better material than they had last week. They've been on a roll this week so far on this Monday Night Raw. I've liked the material better than usual. Backstage, following up on Zayn, Gable tells Zayn that it's not just a physical thing, just what happened out there during the promo. It's a mental thing. Gunther's on a different level than you, Sammy. If he doesn't change your attitude, you have no chance, says Gable to Zayn, as Zayn kind of looks down again, planting seeds of doubt. CM Punk returns to Raw next week in his hometown of Chicago And it says with Mania being in Philly, he says that his name is Phil, so the first 4 letters are the same. So he would be there whether he's invited or not. Drew comes to the ring. Speaking of defiance in WrestleMania, Drew comes to the ring. WrestleMania Savior is on his shirt. Rollins cuts him off mid-entrance with the whole whoa thing. Drew just stands at the entrance aisle looking back, pissed off. Drew says Rollins hogs the spotlight because after Mania, it's not going away. After Mania, it's not going to be yours anymore, Drew said. Rollins says, you're a hypocrite, Drew, but I agree with you on one thing. And he says, my name is Seth freaking Rollins, and I am a spotlight junkie. He raises his hand like he's in an AA club and says, my name is Seth Rollins. I'm a junkie of spotlight. Fans chant, spotlight junkie, while the other morons or robots in the crowd go, whoa. McIntyre says, you're becoming a parody of yourself. You're a walking punchline. Seth admits it is his fix to wrestle, and hear people sing his song. That's his fix. He craves it. He needs it. Rollins admits something we already knew. He's an attention junkie. McIntyre says, why can't the spotlight be on Seth versus Drew? Why do you have to be involved with The Rock? Why can't that be it? Drew says at Mania he's not going to get the amount. He bloody well deserves it. And Seth goes, Drew, there you go. You want the spotlight just as much as me. And Seth says, for 4 years, Drew, you've done nothing but cry about deserving the spotlight. But when the light shines brightest, I'm not at my best. That's what Seth Rollins says. Decent segment here, better than last week's for sure. We go from Seth's mug to Becky's. Becky says tonight she'll beat Nia Jax and be the last woman standing. We hear that The Rock's going to be on Raw April 1st, the go-home show to Mania. Hopefully that's not an April Fool's joke because it is on April 1st after all. The 5th match of the night was a WrestleMania 40 qualifying match. The New Day took on Alpha Academy. Yeah, this review is going to go well over a half hour. Hopefully it's fine. I'm sure if you guys are clicking on this, you have time to listen. WrestleMania, I just like to get them done in 20 minutes. WrestleMania 40 qualifying match. The New Day versus Alpha Academy, Tozawa and Otis. Otis with an elbow and a clothesline. World's strongest slam, and then a caterpillar with an elbow drop. But there's a New Day kick out. Second rope rolled out. Harm's way. Tozawa scores a near fall after a lateral press and a cross body. Tornado DDT by the New Day. Xavier Woods against Tozawa. Tozawa with a Hurricane Rana, and the power of Tozawa connects as Kofi breaks up the pinfall attempt. Tornado DDT plants Otis by the steps. Woods with a sit in the end with a sit-down powerbomb to Tozawa. Woods points to the sign and he comes off with an elbow that would make Randy Savage proud. The New Day is going to Mania once again. I gave the match a star and a half. Liv Morgan tells Becky that she better kick Nia's ass in the last woman standing match. Rollins asks Rhodes one-on-one, and he says, yeah, one-on-one. And they shake hands. Then they say JD's going to take on Ricochet and JD next week. JD needs that win if he ever needed anything. Either way, Ricochet is used as a jobber. I think it's because of his mic skills. They hold him back. It's got to be because of that. His mic skills are pretty horrendous because he's a great talent otherwise. Last women's standing match, Nia Jax versus Becky Lynch. Maybe I'll cut just at a half an hour. The women's main event on SmackDown with Dakota Kai and Bayley, and now it's Lynch versus Jax. So if you're keeping track, that's 2 Raw back-to-back shows, SmackDown and Raw, where they have the ladies' main event. I think they're doing this because they know at WrestleMania the ladies don't get to main event either night. So I think they're making the main event on Raw and SmackDowns before. I might be onto something with that. I'm thinking that's the correct booking strategy, and that's also why Rhea maybe got to main event. Not just that, but at Elimination Chamber. So they're all outside of being from Australia, of course. Nia Jax comes to the ring with this badass look attempt, but in all seriousness, it's hard to take her seriously because on Instagram I have Jackie Redmond, and she's posting TikTok videos or videos on Instagram where they try to be mean girls from the movie or other shit or whatever the fuck scenes they cut. One of them I think was Mean Girls. Maybe they're all Mean Girls. I don't know. I've only seen that movie once, and it was 20 years ago. But my point is, Nia Jax acts all goofy and friendly, and then when she's on Raw, she walks to the ring. I'm not like most girls, or whatever her song is now. I just can't take it seriously. I wonder if McMahon would have allowed it if he's in charge. But I guess it doesn't really matter what McMahon would like anymore, does it? Jax dominating, and the winner will be the last woman standing. Chair shot, stick shot, stairs got involved. Jax uses the weapon against Becky. She misses the leg drop again, and she doesn't yell, my hole, thankfully. Lynch picks out a table as the fans start to cheer. We go to what's likely our last commercial break. Becky with the fire extinguisher and blinds Nia. Then a Samoan drop out of nowhere, through the table by Nia. Lynch with a power slam through the table by Becky to Jax. A manhandle slam didn't finish it, but Nia was able to get up. Lynch climbs the ladder and does a leg drop through the announce table. Stupid how Nia bent forward for that spot before it happened, so she was in place for Becky to drop the leg on her, but it was a great spot nonetheless. She wows the crowd, and she is the last woman standing. Much like SmackDown ended with damage control over Bayley, Raw ends with Becky standing tall over Nia, finally beating Nia Jax for the first time, because Nia Jax was unbeaten before this against Becky Lynch. Ripley then comes out, and Mommy's here. That's that does it for the match portion. I rated that match 2.5 stars. Overall, a good match. A lackluster segment ending the show with Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. Ripley just letting her presence be felt. She throws the belt down and they go face to face. Or maybe she's still holding the belt. I don't know, but they went face to face. They obviously wanted a good image for the WrestleMania build-up package, and showing them face to face will probably be like the ending shot. So that's why they do things like that. I just would have liked a little bit more timing, so the Lynch match should have maybe ended a bit sooner, or put on a bit sooner, and then we could have got more of a promo, but that's okay. We still got 2 more Raws to go. Overall, I rate this show a 5.5 out of 10. I did feel it was average, hence the 5 rating, but I put it at 0.5 as I felt it was just a bit above average. If it was condensed into a 2-hour show, this Raw, I maybe give it a 6 or a 6.5, but 3 hours is painfully long, and it didn't. But this one drifted well. This one I felt had some good carry-in from segment to segment. It made sense. It was logical, and they did a good job of what order everything went in. I did feel they had more Mania clarity too, and it gave great storytelling to the show. It appeared a bit more average. The DIY Creeds match was one for the month. This is probably one of the best matches of 2024 that you'll see. It's probably going to be one of the top Raw matches of the year. It was a show that also led to our next SmackDown. That's what the builds do when they're doing the business right. It's going to be a segment we all look forward to on SmackDown with Roman and Cody one-on-one. So that does it for the March 18th, 2024 episode from Raleigh. Just under 3 weeks till the granddaddy of them all. I rate it rather strictly just because it's Mania season and they could do a lot more during Mania season than they have been. But again, tonight's show had a better pace than most of the Raws in the last month. So it might be my highest rated Raw of the last month, 5.5. I'm not sure. But SmackDowns have been giving routinely about 6 out of 10. So keep sticking around for my reviews. Hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for sticking with me this whole half hour. I hope I said something good. Keep supporting my Monday Night War reviews. Hit sub again if you haven't. And yeah, Cody fires back at the final boss, March 18th, 2024 from the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm Brett Mix. Hope you enjoyed the show and catch me on the next one. I'm out.